A very good evening to you, our viewers. It's your host once again, Tapiwa Makosa, and I would like to welcome you to this week episode of Let's Talk with Mordecai Kamanga. But I am in the chair as always. That has been for the past week, but this is to keep the conversation going. So we want to thank you for your support. We appreciate those likes, the follow button, and the conversations that we are having. For now, I understand that they are happening much in the inboxes, but I believe as we continue conversating, people will have the courage to come on the platforms and we start, engaging together even on the comment sections and on the various platforms that we are airing this episode. So if you are joining us today, I want to say thank you once again. Today, I am privileged to be joined by my elder brother and elder sister. I had the privilege of being part of their wedding. And unless the video editors took away my voice, I think I was singing on their wedding and interpreting. But please kindly welcome to the podcast. Let's talk. Koma pardon instead of brother pardon. Koma pardon and Sisi Flo. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you very much for having us. Me and my wife, we are pleased to be here to be talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say?
No, I'm okay.
That's good. Yeah, I know it's kind of informal. I could have said, "Oh, introduce yourself," but I've already introduced you already. But I'm glad that you actually accepted our invitation for this time to have a conversation. And as we start, we just want to go straight into the issue, especially why I approached you. You are doing something that we haven't observed for a long time. Probably to me, you are the first of a kind. You're a different generation who is tackling the issue of what you do with marriages or when you are about to get into marriage. And now you are bringing it into the public fora, not necessarily bringing in all pastoral or Christian lenses, but from a practical perspective, also hearing it from the young couples. So, if you may take me through that journey, what brought you to that point where you said, I think we need to do something? What happened?
Thank you for the question. I think on what brought this up, my wife will be better placed to talk about it. Do you want to say?
Yeah, I think I can say something. I've been quiet for so long.
I was wondering why you were not saying anything. I'm not going to say pardon. No. Anyone who take the question, I'm okay.
No, it's okay. Right. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for that question. So the reason why maybe it was more of like a thought that took me down a bit of a time, whereby we have young girls like this day and age. We now have young girls just leaving school up and they get married, thinking like marriage is more like a cave where they can run into, but without the basic knowledge. And there are some girls as well who have lost both parents and they are not being well raised. And most of them in the Christian sector, I think you understand where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
We don't get that much of exposure of what marriage is. We are only sent out. Oh, you're getting married. You have done well. Congrats. Go and give 100%. But that 100%, I don't know it. I don't know what it means. Where am I coming from? Where am I going to? And I'm being told of mostly panobuda zvinhu zvakati zviri negative from their past experiences. There's nothing good at all. And when I start my home now, I'm looking for all the negatives from my husband, who also didn't get that type of information. He's a blank tape. Sagatas once somebody comes in, it's fully loaded with information. The other one is empty on information. We clash. Where are we going to? heading for disaster.
I see. That's quite interesting. So if I can process it, is we are realizing a gap between the transitional period from being a youth and being prepared to get into a house and to be married. And I know you have said what you said, but I think you were kind of speaking under the cuff, and you were Mam Chizora, Tete. I would want you to really express, because this is Let's Talk, like you all like the don't mind the cameras. You are talking to me, right? As the conversations that we usually have about these things. In as and you will be, everything is okay, because I totally agree and see where you are coming from, and seeing you now doing something about it, I think it's a great plus. I do have questions, and I've had certain observations that I've done to say, maybe just to keep you. I usually say you cannot teach a lady who is 26 years old, who has been told that sex is evil if you are fornicating, and then because you are going to get married tomorrow, all of a sudden sex is good. That's what I usually say, to say a person has taken 26 years in church being told it's fornication, it's fornication, it's fornication. Now that they want to get married, then all of a sudden, oh, you are supposed to make sure that your husband doesn't go a night,
Have you
without.
heard this statement? Wakunochata, especially the women. And you are there, you are thinking, what am I supposed to do?
So with that, what do you think in your approach now as you are giving out this podcast? What is your approach, especially, let's take from that example?
I'll answer. I think what I think from what I just said about I have so many thoughts against that idea, because so the thinking was, people before they go into marriage, they should understand what marriage is at first. Because as a boy child, or church that much, but as a boy child, what you understand by marriage is, I'll have a woman in the house and I'm going to have lots of sex. Pandadira, padafungira, and things like that. That's the idea of marriage. You are not equipping yourself, kuti it's not an object. It's not a tool to satisfy myself. Of course, satisfaction is part of the deal, but it's not. I didn't go through tool. You're putting this fat, but I'm taking someone and a history and a background, as a history and road paga farmer. I mean, and a background.
No, I do get you.
Yeah, and a family which is different from yours. I'll give, for example, she is a townie. Makakura mchimuona mtaundi. Ari mtaundi, isusu tavatadi taifudza mombe kwachivi uku. Saka that background, you don't take it into consideration. Ungofunga andaroora chete. Nechinakiro.
I think on that, Mkoma, how did you actually do it, if you may?
Do what?
Well, I am going there. As in
what?
Now you are coming. You said your background. You're coming from Kwachivi, and you're coming to Sisiflo. Sisiflo Mselebwedu, know, she is that. She's out there already. She's a celeb in our circles. You know, what is in your mind? You have Mazarurirwa that you like this girl who is town girl. You know, and probably there's someone who's looking at and will be like, okay, what can I do? I'm just a boy, another boy from Kwachivi. I don't know sister of town, but
Yeah.
ziva class yako. Did you know? And things
Yeah,
like that.
I think you are right. Because that class, good right. Because that class, you know the approach as well.
Mhm.
The approach is munhu wese akasikwa naMwari. So ndikaona kuti iwo handigone kukusvikira iwo
Mhm.
direct. I go back to the maker. Kuti Mwari honai kanyaya iri panapa. Ndosvika apa. Make a way. And the way opened for me.
Okay.
And we are here.
And you are here. No, that's that's interesting. It's quite interesting. Now, you were blessed. You got married, and I don't know the time frames, and then you relocated. You know, what do you think now? You're starting out as a new couple, as a new family, and then there comes in the issue of relocating. What are the challenges that you had faced, and how did you go about resolving them whilst working in with your marriage and in your marriage, about your marriage?
You want to answer that one?
It's been a long, yeah. I think I can tackle this one.
Right.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming, because what happened was, when we were in courtship, I think
No.
we were engaged.
What?
We had gotten engaged. We went to
Mhm.
see the sister of mine. Unfortunately, the sister was his boss at work,
Mhm.
and we had started putting our plans together, and wanted to go to, first of all, it was Canada. Then, but he had already started working in Namibia.
Mhm.
Then she was like, no, 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 don't do the way there's a lot of examinations. You use your money for no reason. Just go to this country where we are right now. Go to this country where there are no exams. You just have to register with the board, and you get a job, and they'll take you. So we got married with that in line in our prayers. Moved to Namibia after the wedding, and we're still praying and still doing all sorts of the paperwork. It was quite a lot of paperwork that we had to do.
Mhm.
And also, as you're starting, the finances are not enough when you're getting married. That's where you are tried.
Mhm.
I'll give you this. We got married July. We went back. I joined him back in Namibia, and we got a 2 week salary.
Was it August?
Got a two
No,
week
for July we
for
got
July.
2
We
weeks.
got a 2 week salary.
Yeah.
We had been told to do our budgets together, budgeting the whole amount, and it doesn't come. It doesn't come at all like that way. So we had to go back to the drawing board and redo everything and compromise some stuff.
Mhm.
So already when we started, we had that more like, those were like to my test nyana.
And that's interesting now that you brought it as an example.
Mhm.
But let's tackle on that. Money issues in relationships. Money issues in relationship. You're starting anew. You're talking about budgeting.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know in your experience and what advice then would you give? And in your experience in the process of getting married, how you were taught on budgeting? Because if there is maybe if it is advice to say budget together to me already assumes that there is money that has already come. Did you get that?
Yeah.
If you get where I'm coming from, then budget together, assuming that there is money that is coming and whose money it is. How best do young couples should go about that? What is money that is budgeted that is considered to be the money that is ours or the money that is of the household?
I think on that, sorry, I'm just going to go on my phone here
Mhm.
and open a scripture
Mhm.
in, come on, phone. I'll go to Genesis 2:25.
Mhm.
It's talking about Adam and Eve. It says, and they were both naked, the man and the wife,
Mhm.
and were not ashamed. So this is not like the teaching we got at first. We're all coming with our own different backgrounds. My parents used to tackle budgeting in a different way from what her parents were doing.
Mhm.
It's something we noticed at first that this is different. But at first, like when we got into courtship, even,
You didn't do that.
hmm? No.
Let him finish, Flo, and
Okay,
then count.
okay, I will not talk about the courtships. But when we got into courtship, I
Mhm.
think when we started, is it? I would tell you how much I get per month, and I'm in Namibia, she's in Zimbabwe. And I would tell her, no, I got this much. What do you think we should do? My renter needs this, on food I need this. What do you think we should do? So we started doing that back then. But going back to the scripture I just read, like for a married man and a married woman, it
Mhm.
says they were both naked. It means when you are naked, there's nothing hidden, nothing. Everything
Transparent.
is transparent. There's transparency in the house. I think handling money issues, I think it needs that as well, that nakedness, that transparency in the home. Dame mwana, panati nje pepe, daneta kadiri kangu akandauya nekatudoras. Then we see how we can handle the money. Or because I know some people teach you to isakamu kamari side, but I believe when the Bible was saying this, it meant something that we should be naked to each other. We should be
Transparent.
transparent.
Hakuna kaikainganiswa kuseri kwewallet cafe.
But
So you see this, you see like what you are saying. Hakuna kaniswa kuseri kasanyo. You know you don't have a different. But like what Mkoma also was alluding to say, you're also taught as a murume always heavy kama kanenge kari pa aside ke emergency, you know. But we are talking balancing out. Today I'm just gonna be asking. I don't want to contribute a lot because I have no experience.
Okay.
Balancing income, especially now, luckily enough, you have traveled abroad, you have come to a different country with different ways of doing things, and you are assessing the issue of single income, double income households. How best? Because we know that there are young people, you know, some who have relocated, some got COS, so they're getting married with their partners that are back home, and they need to fly them to this side, you know, and it's vice versa. What would you tell to them to say now, when you come here, you're coming from, I think we grew up being taught, you know, your place is the kitchen stuff, you know, kind of conversation. How best then do you advise uh young people that are coming, if you may say, okay, you're getting married to someone, your boy is in Zimbabwe, you're bringing him here, you are the lady, or vice versa. What do you tell them?
Uh, One thing that I would maybe want to say, I don't know, do you have anything that you want to say about this, or I can go with it?
go with it.
All right, thank you. Right. For me, I'll give an example of myself, what happened. I left my job when I got married and moved to Namibia. So in I had worked for 4 years in Zimbabwe. I joined my husband. In Namibia, they wouldn't allow spouses to work because their visa was like no spouses should work. Then we left Namibia, came here to Europe, and I did 3 years because unfortunately, when I arrived, that's when they started allowing the spouses to work, which means that thing was not there before. It was there when I came in. But I was still trying to settle. I had a small baby, 9-month-old baby, and everything. we tried by all means to make one income balance our family as we were only three people. As time went by, we had a, God blessed us with a second child. And when that child was 6 months old, I lost my father. Yes. So now I'm looking at what my current situation is like and what the situation back home is like. It wasn't making sense anymore. I had to stand up and go to work. But fortunate part was we had that we had COVID and they were now allowing people to work from home, and I got a job. In the process, we had prayed that we also wanted a place to stay in. But here, when you're working in first world countries, it's not like back home in Africa. They
Mhm.
look and assess how much you're getting and how much people are dependent on your salary to avail of you a mortgage.
Mhm.
Yes. So, in as much as I know we have a doctrine, I know there's a doctrine whereby the woman's place is in the kitchen. But some of the girl child is being made to go to school. I would want to pose this. The girl child is made to go to school. For what reason? You can't go to school for you to go and sit in the kitchen. No way. That doesn't work at
And we
all.
send those girl childs to
You send
very
them
expensive
very expensive
schools
schools, yeah.
for them to be.
To be a maid in the kitchen. For who? Who
For
told you
me.
that? The Bible says, I will make him an help meet, which means that man should also be able to wash, that man should also be able to cook, that man should also be able to clean because you're helping each other. Right. If you
Mhm.
understand the Bible so well, so clearly. So there we are. I managed to get a job and everything is okay. But from then on, he's been taking care of me. I've been taking care of him. And we're looking good together.
Yeah, I can see that. No, and you see, this thing of like, if we are on this work, where do you think this conversation happens? Right? Because we still need to appreciate that it's I think there is benefit in association. I played with you, my elder brothers and sisters, you know, and I played with people who were open-minded, people who were learned, let me put it that way, and would have these conversations. But now when you are in a relationship, when you are in courtship, let's put it that way, where do you think these open conversations should happen? We are talking about either brother is going, you know, am I going to work or you're not going to work when we get married? How many kids are we going to have? And how are we going to raise those kids? What would you advise on that? When does that conversation happen? And how best should people go about it? And what would be the best practice on going ahead on such?
Uh, I think personally, I think it would be wrong to give a timing.
Mhm.
Like maybe say when you are 6 months in, you should start talking about this, or when you are so much in, you should start talking about this. I say that because sorry, we'll keep coming to our story because it's
That's why I have you here. So it's okay. Don't worry.
we know our story better and what we were doing. But
Yeah.
now, when we're like going into courtship, before we even started dating, when we're just talking to each other, I was still in Zimbabwe at that time. One point she missed when she was telling me about the stories. Uh, tichitaura tsandakanda shoko.
madhikoni ari kuzvinzwa kayo makatiti
Ngavazwe, ngavazwe.
makatikikisa bhora rakafa mweya. All right, sorry about go ahead.
We would talk because that time I wasn't going to work. I wasn't formally employed.
Yeah.
I was okay, unaso wana $20 wadai wati munhu ande kulunch, things like that.
Mhm.
But I was telling him, no, pane basa riri hanging ku Namibia. There's only one thing that needs to happen for me to
go.
chiuya kubasa. And the day she said yes, kwakuri kuma 1 2
1 2
taseparate aenda kumba. Ini ndisati ndasvika kumba, I called her. I told her that, give a bye. I got a call. I'm supposed to leave for work on Monday. It was on a Thursday. So in that way, because kubva kokutanga, we made our interests known to each other. Kuti hama yangu wana zvinhu kufamba so. Inini I'm in for marriage here. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time, which in the measure, which in the if you need to know anything, ngatizikanwe kokutanga kunoku before we put our hearts in. Let us know it now. So I think if you start that way, makabudirana pachena kwete kuti todamuona kuti zvinosvika kupi. You're not sure of yourself. So you are not going to be sure to start those conversations. But when you are sure of yourself, no, this is the direction we are taking. The conversations you are going to make in the courtship, this is the things like that. But yeah, you're already building your home in that courtship stage.
So
let's raise funds to tishika pa marriage. But all right, tashika pa marriage. What are we going to do in our house? Medu now. But it's not going to tanga kokutanga because you both agreed pekutanga this is what's happening now.
But Mkoma, let me hold you there. Pamurutu pekutanga pande papi for the benefit of the hearers. And I think but on the time of recording, I think I've got my old posts listed when I did courtship and dating history. I wrote them 2016. But and I've got a certain argument that I made, but I'm saying you're saying tisad asat abvuma kwekutanga. What is that? Right, all right, mabvumirane. I wanted you to clarify that one because we have got different eras. And
to say something. Yeah.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
So our courtship was different from everyone else's on the basis that he wanted to leave Zimbabwe for work in Namibia.
Uh-huh.
So hear me well.
Mm-hmm.
The late pastor was like, I want to speak to you. It was on Friday. I finished work Friday on 5, and I went to his office. And we spoke. It was like, go and wait for me. The brother is coming. He wants to speak to you downstairs in the main auditorium. I sat there. He was not there. I was scared. Then it was like, then it was like, okay, fine. Soon after service, come and meet me in my office. And I went. We met that day. That was 9 July 2015. Right? Usually he gives both parties 2 weeks to go and pray. I didn't get that. Right? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'll tell you why. I didn't get that. So he was like, I'm going to exchange your numbers. Don't talk to each other about your numbers. Just say hi and go. That was it. Then followed later. Then he didn't speak to me on Friday. He didn't speak to me on Saturday. He spoke to me on Sunday. After service. He was not there at church. He had gone somewhere. I don't know where he had gone to. So he spoke to me on his way back. That was it. That's how it started. Then he was like, I want you guys to go and talk so that whenever he is going to go, at least you'll be on the talking, like,
Kuzwisisana.
Kuzwisisana before you
Mm.
even ask each other out.
No, this is the reason why I asked, and I think you answered it the way you started to say the pastor was aware. He
Yes,
was facilitating this, and this is
yes.
what I wanted you to clarify, because when people do hear it and say, "Oh, we're just still talking," before
Oh,
we ask people within 10 asking, oh, so mama to grammar inbox dzenyu kudhara
my DM.
handiti kuzvibata. So that's why I wanted you to clarify that part,
Yeah.
and so that it be clear to whoever will be listening to say, okay, so this conversation are happening. So, but what I'm learning from what you guys are saying is it has to be that the guy knows what he wants.
Yeah. Even the girl too.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
so sorry for, I'm going to root for the guys now.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to root for the guys in the sense of, because the guy is going to take the initial step, especially in the message community. It's the guy who's going to the elders.
Yeah.
So he has to know what he wants. So for him, he knew what he wanted. So even when the pastor is saying, okay, fine, before maitana zvokuzoudzana kuti madii maakuda here kuti hamusi kuda, he is aware that this guy is serious. And I think that is the key takeaway that I am getting from this point.
Yeah.
You see, to say you as the guy, you ought to be serious with that. This is the person that you want to be. Even kana makaita talking stage yenyu inozivikanwa nevamwe, hamusi under pressure kuti mukubvuma kuti hamusi kubvuma, asi matogara maziva kuti we are talking marriage, and everyone is
It's on the same
aware.
path.
Yeah, I think you have to know, because if you ukapinda without you being so sure, you're going to kutambisa mashoko.
Nenguva.
Mashoko anofanira kunge achireva chimwe chinhu haacharevi basi sekuti shoko rokuti I love you. Because you are not sure kuti ndizvo here kana kuti hazvisi, but uda kungoudza munhu kuda kungofila munhu what ari say, but when you know what you want, it's all systems go.
That's good.
Can I add something for that as well on this girl side?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Hakuna change. There is nothing that you call too hard to get. Play too hard to get. No, there's nothing like that.
Aingotaura kuti I was smooth.
Pedzisa.
Huh?
Pedzisa vanyatsonzwa vasikana.
Okay, I'm saying.
Yeah, like nyatsopedzisa vanyatsonzwa kuti don't.
I'm saying there's nothing called play hard to get, because the moment you're doing that, right? You are hardening your heart on something that's genuine, on something God has sent for you. In as much as you say you are a prayer warrior, or you say you pray, the Bible, I think there's somewhere where it says you will entertain strange angels, or unknowingly when you do that. So sometimes your prayer is answered, but your prayer is not going to be answered with something that you are eyeing out at. You are never going to get my qualities ese know that you will never find them in one person. Some of them, they are instilled by you
in the person.
You're going on, yes. So in myself, if you ask me myself, I got this guy from God.
That's deep.
Yes, I got him from God, because I had gone through a horrible experience, and I was like, Mari, this thing is not for me anymore. I want this person to use this correct protocol, right? That is done here at church, and he did exactly that. In as much as I knew God would answer, but I didn't know he would answer me in a human form.
I like that.
Yes. So whenever you pray, whenever you say you're praying for a husband, whenever you say you want a life partner, be sincere enough to put your fleeces. They might not come in as the way you want them to come in. I wouldn't want to be told, "Kuti, hey, they go like, I need a romantic guy. I need someone who give me all the attention." Excuse, anochena. No, anochena akarora. Ari romantic an experience kumba. Yes. So one thing that you need to know is you get something that you are going to make each other.
You grow
You
together.
grow together, you polish each other as you are going. Because the moment you start, you say you want someone akachena akaita say, there's someone doing those things for you at home. And when you get there now, you'll be told, no, it's not you, it's her. You were in those stick and will.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I've answered you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. If you are joining us today, this is Let's Talk, and I'm joined by Pardon and Florence Manjera, and we are having a conversation around what to look at and what to consider when you are starting out in courtship to issues with marriages. Now, they've got a dedicated podcast that they have on YouTube. And I want you guys to talk me through why devoted and undistracted, such a unique name for that podcast. Why devoted and undistracted? Why that?
You need to be devoted in what you believe in. You need to be undistracted in what you want. You need to be a goal getter or a goal setter and a goal achiever. So
Mhm.
whenever you set yourself on a high target, be sure to aim it. Don't go down. Don't back off. The moment you back off, you're letting many things filter in, and they'll destroy your bright future ahead.
All right. That's
Just to add on to what she said, from from her example as well.
mhm,
I think when we were announced in church for courtship,
mhm.
I'm sure there were a few people who went to her and was like, "My sister, are you sure you're going with this guy?"
Inini ndakabuda panze ndakati Flo sise unoundiudzawo because wakonditi ndinamatiri. If I remember well, I was like, but why didn't you tell me? Akangosendera message I think the previous day akati usapota uvhe kuchechi and stuff like that. That
Yeah, but I mean, like the state I was in,
Yeah, the state he was in.
it was something else. Can a little daughter say, "What? How did I get there?" Because before that, I was better than that time, but that was my really like my
Lowest.
lowest,
Lowest.
like very low. I think I had been like 5 or 6 months out
Out
of
of employment. Yeah.
employment. It was really
so what can we tell the young girls? Because you see, even in this time that we are living in and the pressures that then come, uh, and I wanted to move towards social media and its influences, you know, because you know, I don't know, Flo, so patona kwaenda maruva here nemaruva. Do you know it moved from just let's clap hands to maruva to maboke to decoration just on the courtship announcement itself, not the engagement and things like that. It's moving, things are moving, my guy.
Ooh.
And you see, then it comes in like these subtle pressures on mambotora nyaya yekuti I want a romantic guy and things like this, and then there's this added things that are like layers. What do you think of the influence of social media, be it in church or outside of church, on the modern relationships and courtships that we are having today? And also, do you think that young couples today, they are facing different challenges from the previous generations?
I would say yes. There's so much pressure. It's even affecting the married ones, whereby the married ones are now looking at what the youngins are doing and they're saying, "You, why don't you copy that? I want that for myself." Whereby you are now a mother, you've got kids, or you're now a father, you've got kids as well. You're running around with diapers, you're running around with homework, school run, and everything. So, one thing that I would want to say to anyone who's listening and who's also looking into getting married, or those that are married, there is one sermon that was preached, if I still remember well, by the late pastor. He would say, never be in competition with your neighbor. The moment you are in competition with your neighbor, you don't know if that person is a thief, you don't know if that person is a businessman, you don't know if that person has been promoted at work. You will cause your husband to go and steal and then have consequences to deal with later on. Be content with what you have. Your time will also come. In as much as now social media is on the rise with technology advancing, see everything with a pinch of salt, see everything with humility. Kakuzvidzora kwete kungoda zvese zvese hauzipepa bag. You need to know what's within your reach, what you can achieve, what you can see yourself. The way you transform yourself, you know yourself. You know who made you. There is a manual that you need to return to, because the noise and everything that's going to come in around is there to just cause confusion. But if you know who you are, and if you are deeply rooted where you are at, I think God can open doors for you to bless you the way that He can, for you to go on. Despite social media and all that, don't fall into it.
I think one thing people should remember is you take pictures on your phone, even on WhatsApp. Whatever I'm going to put on WhatsApp, that's one picture. Maybe I've done 10 photos.
Yes.
And I'm scrolling through looking for the best picture. That's the one I post on social media, but that doesn't reflect the way I'm living. When I'm taking that picture, I'm going to move the data around it. Kana ndiri mumba ndakutotanga kubvisa mabox epizza anga ari kumashure nezvigaba zvemazowe zvana ndakarasa pasi kuti picture rinyatsobuda. But that's not how my house looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that shouldn't put pressure on anyone, because that's a made up environment that looks on go post up on social media.
That's helpful. That's helpful. Now, still on social media, you are doing podcast. How do you find it working together as a couple in either the curation of the topics that you're going to be talking about? Take me through the content creation process. That what do you call it? The art process of you before you sit down and say, okay, fine, let's have a check. Who comes up with ideas? Who who doesn't, and what is it like working together on that? How are you balancing it? I want to copy that because I have issues here. So
I think I don't know what it's like in other homes, but in our home here, partner makuwe. Teta makuwa edu bobo ko pana tap mic wazoona here ko azi chiko ne t-shirt chakapfekwa na tap mic chichi. So from there munonga munotarisa ndeti muri kuona, then after some time you see, oh, there's a trend here. This has happened here, this has happened here, this has happened here. Maybe mumba menyu might something, then you'll be like, why is it not being addressed? Why are the elders not addressing this? It's unfortunate for us kuti isusu takatoroora munhu ndakunze kwenyika. And the way we were, there was a small church and tatogara about 400 k's from the next church. So like kwaitwa couples meeting tatsingambosvike because story kure already. So we don't know what's discussed in those scenarios. Kana paitwa couples meeting, what's being discussed there, we don't know. So this was our own way of saying, maybe we talk about this, let's talk about these issues and try to solve them. Now, when we come up with the topics, we sit down and say, oh, my topics happy, we list them down and we discuss them. That also helps us as well, because we could discuss, doing research, and you try to relate it to your own situation.
Yeah.
the communication. How does this relate to us? Like on our podcast, we have a podcast, an episode that's coming. It should come out this weekend. We're talking about counseling. It took us time to bring that up because we're like, okay, counseling. What do we talk about on counseling?
You've never been there.
We've never been there.
That was my next question. I was coming there.
What we did, actually, we're like, no, let's take ourselves through counseling. Katopinda and a marriage counselor, we went through, not because we have an issue to be solved, but to see what's there, because they are not there to solve an issue.
They're there to bond.
They are there to teach you about marriage, because what's there, they are just teaching about marriage, basically, which is what is marriage, how do you handle things, not your specific issue. No. Mukaita any issue mukataura kuna counselor is worried about how did you react, how did you feel, not kuta you was it wrong, you was what I know, what made you feel this way, why this, why that. Yeah.
You see, when I said you went to my follow-up question, I wanted to kind of like trace back to the whole process of courtship. And I always ask this question: did you go for marriage counseling? I know in other denominations they do go for marriage counseling. Other churches they won't wed you, you know, based yes, they won't wed you based on like, we know you come here. You say you are now in a relationship that is known. You attend counseling sessions, marriage counseling sessions as a couple,
Right.
until the counselors in church are satisfied that you have whatever syllabus that they have. Then you can go to the pastors to say, now we can now marry you. Did you hear that?
I think that should be adopted in every church.
And I wanted to say that because the last guest we had, I think you saw the conversation I had with Jerry. I kind of we spoke around the issues of formalizing of certain issues, you know, issues that are good, because honestly the advice that we mostly hear is just have the Holy Spirit, everything is gonna be okay. But and I usually say we grow up, Flossie, you know, pardon. We grow up, the meetings, the special meetings that were there were only two special meetings: youth meeting and convention. We never heard about couples meeting. It's only because unresolved youth issues started popping up in marriage, then we started having. I grew up in church, what do you call it? Before the lady what's that, kitchen party? Castigated, you know, we don't do kitchen parties, and things like that. And I'm like, okay, you have taken away the tete. You don't go tete, and then kuchechi akuna, and Flossie, you know, we would go, like it would be like special Sunday school. Sisters sister Kadiwa, sorry to mention the name, and it would happen probably like once after how long? Do you know, like sisters, you maybe once a year? Do you get that? What is in place for the young couples then that are in, not young couples, young men and ladies that are in the process of getting married, in courtship? Do we have a platform? What should be done? Have a platform that we know, like, okay, we have got 10 relationships that we know here, you know, let's put them to class, you know, before we say you given us the date, then you have to attend lessons, whatever. It's 5 modules that we are going to do. Nowadays, I usually say we've got YouTube. Find a module there. Get people to watch it and ask questions and discuss. That is my view on maybe what could be done to alleviate certain issues that kind of like crosses over. And, well, I thought I had a question. I ended up talking.
No, I think your question, I got it. But just to give you more like a hindsight, you mentioned about there is no a sort of a group whereby those in courtship are being told to come in and sit down. It's another thing that you have identified, and that me and my husband, we also identified. Because we both had to talk when we went for this counseling session. We had to talk, we had to tell him what we have been going through. And he actually pointed it out that, okay, fine. Starting from back when you were in your courtship, what did you do? And you will only realize that there was no basis at all that we did whatsoever. To the extent that now that we are married, pano boil my popcorn. I'm not like saying some things, relationships are like that, the road
Yeah.
twists and turns.
Mhm.
But people are not boiler, but what's making them to boil? It's something that you didn't manage to resolve before you got married.
Conflict resolution
Conflict
skills.
resolution skills, yes. So even communication chayo, even listening, we are not able to listen because I've been told, bridal shower. I've been told, iwe kusvika uchidai, make sure you are submitting, make sure you're doing. I'm being told to give, 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 give. Him, he doesn't even know anything.
Yep.
Tiripo ka-
I had a situation, when you talk about this thing, I had a situation, takasvika pazera rekuti tandauperedza mishato yakawanda nekuita ma-MC. And now when I was doing MC, I started because I was looking at, okay, fine, outside what do they do also? And I went and I was like, we're doing your MC mishato mangwana. So and I was like, so did you get counseling services sessions? And they were like, no. And I was like, so when you talk to this pastor, what did you say? The pastor just said, oh brother, oh, your wedding is next week, God bless you brother, everything is gonna be okay.
Trust me.
I'm telling you the truth. That's what they say. They say when I went there to say, okay, fine, it's not a conversation about get ready, this is what is marriage. You'll be like, oh brother, God bless you, everything's well, is going okay, everything's fine, yeah, we'll be praying for you, everything's gonna be all right. And I was like, what? Before, I wasn't married at that point, and I was like, wait, are you telling me the person that you are expecting to at least tell you? Because my contention always is we tend to take away the roles of anasekuru, anatete, and demonize them for what they are supposed to do. But when we take off those roles, we tend not to fill them in. We just say, oh, the Holy Ghost is gonna tell you. But yet we don't want to use the scriptural reference where in the Bible itself, I think it's in Titus, Paul writes and says, the elder ladies, the way you serve, your way of submission is that you take the young ladies and you teach them. That shouldn't be to wait for your bridal shower. That's not a process for the bridal shower only. It has to be a proper process, not when everyone is just being said, come here, pile it on his head, on her head, to say, don't do this, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this. You haven't been taught anything else. And at that time, you have got wedding pressure. You are not so sure your gown is working. You are not so sure if the venue is okay, and did you get where I'm coming from?
I get it, but you know what? Some counseling that you didn't get, it's all about sex, finance, and go and enjoy your home.
I think mostly they talk about sex because it's something they can't teach on the pulpit, or they can't put a group together and talk about it. So, like your wedding eve, the night before, you're called to the office, you're called in a separate room with the pastor. I know you guys, this is what you're going to meet. But it's short notice, really. Pedza ndiri kufunga kuti ora saka mangwana sekuru vaya ndinovatakura sei, ninguve azotakura chiere, venue asetwa here, chichichi, things like that.
But you see my point. You see my point exactly. Like where I'm saying to say, Flossie, tanga to my youth meeting. Since let the boy play with the boy, let no girls play with the. And vakomana memuchibatira nemaoko o muri kuita relationship muri kuita upombwe. Then do you think a 40-minute session on the day before your wedding is going to change that mindset of
minutes
of that thing which you were told is wrong, it's bad, you not ever do it. It's thing. I was looking for a book that I had. I usually show it, and it was like, how do we demystify this thing, which is the consummation of marriage? We say it's the consummation of marriage. It's the coming together of these two individuals becoming one flesh, and God is pleased with it. How do you take something that has been demonized in somebody's mind all their lives, and all of a sudden it's something that is acceptable, and you can now, after the consummation, you can actually go on your knees and pray to God without any guilty conscience in your heart that I've done the right thing? Because what has changed? The act hasn't changed. You see, the act still remains the act. What has changed is the circumstances in which the act has been done. It has been sanctioned, it has been accepted. And the same idea, the same faith that you should have to know what this is acceptable before God is only thing that is actually changed. But you have grown up all your life, it being demonized, unfortunately, in certain circles. And how then do you go best about it? That would be me and my curious mind. So I'm rooting for the upcoming episode that you guys are going to be talking about counseling and to do with the issues with sex. We went to 2016. We went to Watershed, and Pastor Alistair Francis came, and he came into, if you remember, he came into the room, and you were married. You were just married. Yeah, you were gone. But I think Zach was there, and he just went. He gave a slide, and imagine we went quiet when we just saw the word sex.
Yes.
And the whole went just like quiet, youths, and he worked on us. and even the late pastor was like, okay, fine, what he has done, I wouldn't be able, even our culture, it's hard. I couldn't be able to come and talk about these things that he has managed to do. But I'm saying that happened 2016. It has an effect on me, which I still have got lessons from it. But I'm not so sure.
I would say that was bold. That was bold of him, because you know what? It starts. I once heard it from someone. We heard it from someone who was saying, "Anamai nana baba, mai kunyanya ndo anochengeta vana, be it a boy child or a girl child. We have the responsibility of keeping it so well kept on our children. Mwana mukomana unomudzidzisa kuti mwanangu, hongu zvinoshanda so, zvinoitwa sei, zvinodii, asi mirira uchakura unozozviita waroora. Usazviite izvezvi nekuti ma-repercussions are, there are repercussions of soul ties, there are repercussions of evil spirits coming upon you. And even my after effects of it, you go on with my unsettled mindset, whereby wazoroora manje zvinhu zvakukuteera kwawaroora, and you no longer know how to handle yourself. So one thing that I would say to any listener or any person who's watching, be it ari married, be it ane mwana mukomana or musikana, anamai, let's be careful. Our mothers will need to be very careful and very prayerful. Bring those children close to you. Teach them the Bible. Teach them what you know. All the experiences, the good ones, not the negative ones, the good ones. That tomorrow they will stand up and say, yes, my mother told me, but what I've done is my own doing. Not just letting it go ngoti hai wachiro zvazvaita. Mukomana anogona kunumburisa vanhu. He can impregnate vana vasikana vakawanda. But musikana, just one pregnancy will take care of a lot of things, because it's 9 months to make a child. Yes. So to avoid that, even to the youngins one, don't rush into these things. They have spirits behind them.
Hundreds.
There are so many spirits behind them. You never know what spirit you're carrying.
Right. That's very, very true. That is proper advice. And just to emphasize on that is, let's talk. We advocate for no marriage before no marriage before sex. mweya wamwari waditsura wakatirega ndikubate
tobata munhu.
kutendeuka pamberi pepodcast. No sex before marriage. Marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. Keep yourself until the day that you consummate it after you have given your vows to God and before people. You wanted to say something, Floxy?
Also, marriage is a covenant, not a contract.
Yes, that we are getting to that. Marriage is a covenant, and it's not a contract. We do have. I think it's good that you are doing this devoted and thing. We do have got issues, not necessarily issues. I was having a conversation with a friend about the type of marriages that are existing nowadays. You know, you hear of prenups, postnups, yeah, and things like that. And what would you want to advise to the young girl who probably is going to meet a smart aleck like Tapmark and be like, you know what, oh, sister, before I do this, because I did trade a bit and I have 500,000 and I don't, let's sign a prenup that we only, you know, what when they get into courtship. I think this is the other conversation that we probably don't have. The type of marriage that you're actually getting into. In as much as I know, most of the time it feels like it's given. In Zim, I think it's 511. You know, if it haven't been changed.
Which one?
Mark 11.
I mean, say it's 511. The marriage section. What chapter?
Well, chapter 511.
You know,
The Zimbabwean.
yeah, the Zimbabwean one. To be aware of that, the different types of marriages that are available. Because you might think you are married and the person went on and you are signing a document that is saying the guy can get to.
Yeah. I think, like she said, marriage is a covenant, not a contract. A contract is the one you sign up to whatever you do, like the marriage certificate. This is just to prove to the officials,
to the government,
that we are together. But the marriage itself is the covenant that you have made, the two of you, before God. So I think izokuzosainirana ma-prenup. I don't think there's a there's a what do you call it?
It's a contract.
There's a marriage in there. No, I don't think so.
No, a prenup is a contract.
Yeah, it's just a contract. You are Urupabas.
And
Urupabas are fulfill this guy's sexual desires and now whatever. That's it. In his life, you are not there. You are not.
That person is not important to you.
No, you are not important to him.
Yes, you won't be important to that person.
Yeah.
I will sign it. The person who's making you sign that, you're not important to each other. There's no value in it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Whatever he was doing, like when you are trading, you trade the white mari. For what?
And they are gossip.
Keep it.
Then what? I think ukaita mari ukaita chi inonakidza uchidyana someone.
Yeah, kwete
wega. You see.
I want to
that person.
Yeah. I want you guys to touch on something. Conduct in courtship. I saw a clip of I think it's Pastor Walter Chaser from Kampuzuma on conduct in courtship. What is your advice? You know, because sometimes there is that conflation or misunderstanding and misrepresentation of courts. You know, and anyone can take them the way that they want. But what is the perfect advice on why people should keep chaste, you know, and really wait until, you know, they've been given the proper sanction from God and by the authorities? What are the pitfalls of farming before the rains start in June when you are planting maize? I don't even know how to ask this question, but I think you heard what I say.
I think it's
okay. Carry on.
I think thinking about it, it just shows, or I say, we get into a courtship. It just shows why I am going after you.
Yes.
I think to the girl child, you should just say, run for your life. This is not getting anywhere. But when a guy waits for you and you wait for him, I think it puts a value on them.
Dignity.
It shows dignity. It shows how much I value you as a wife, as a life partner. But ndikangoya ndingoti ndoda kutongokambura izvezvi ndozvandiri kutsvaka zvokukambura we are not planning about
We're
the
not
future.
planning the
Tinotongoda
future.
kukambura kuona kuti zvinokamburika here.
Yeah.
If you see, most of the times, if that happens, as kazhinji kacho hazvipera in marriage, the guy is going to leave you.
Yes.
Anotsvaga, anokusiya,
Yeah, because not easy. Because he knows that we are both supposed to wait for marriage. But I don't know how the road carry easy get and the same deck.
Flossie, what are you going to tell to your young sisters? Because there is this, well, this is my bias, kind of like, not say domicile, approach to ladies where, because Tapiwa and Farida, Tapiwa has liked me, and therefore cannot out on the road I met as well. Just I've been 25, 26, and I might as well just give in to what he wants to say. And also now that pressure of like, in as much as courtship is announced and people are like, okay, pray for us until they invite us to their wedding day, and like, do I want to courtship courtship, brother? Apart from maybe being pestered for sexual gratification, even just abuse, people who are being financially abused, people who are emotionally abused, who are still in courtships and things like that. What would you say to the girl who's in a relationship that is there is some form of abuse? It could be like harsh treatment. What would you say to such? Any sort of abuse?
One thing that I would advocate for is, I'll start with the sexual whatnot. Do not open up to someone that you don't know, who is never going to pay lobola to your parents. That person is disrespectful. Anodya mango yasati abhadhara mushopu. Aiwa, tomusungisa ndopinda mujeri. That's one thing. Another thing, cover yourself and hold yourself with dignity and character. That's one thing these guys look for. You men, you always, hey, I'm looking for character, I'm looking for humility, beautiful, chi, whatnot. You'll be just there, but all you want is that once that thing is gone, the character and dignity is gone. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how nicely you dress, once you open up, your character and dignity is gone. And he spreads it like wildfire to all other guys that you don't even know. Now you are doing these news things and the likes. The blame I would put it on the parents. Mwana atengerwe phone asati asvika 18 years, asati apedza chikoro, vana ngavagare vasina mafoni. Because now at this day and age, pornography is just spreading like wildfire. We now need parents to perhaps put it into practice, whereby they go pick up their children from school, sit down with them, do like pray, Bible study, child. After homework, they do Bible study, they engage in doing stuff. That moment you keep your child busy, no matter what age. My mother would never let me sleep during the day unless I'm not feeling well. She would never let me go into my room. She would find something for me to do that she is watchful of, because she would want to see what you're doing. She would want to engage with you. That's what made me who I am today. So now, if we don't find time with our children, we don't find time with everything else, it's a disaster.
How do we go about it, Flossie? Here, you've got a school and you've got a shift to get to.
When you're in Europe, it's a disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. That's one
I
thing.
think I think Europe is. I think that's the other problem
That's
as
the other
well.
problem
I
is
think we
we
were
have.
going to get it to it in
Yeah,
honor of
that's what.
the,
Yeah, I
the
was
issue
bringing it.
of
Child,
priorities maybe
yes,
in a
in a
family.
Child
family.
care.
Yeah.
Childcare.
Mm-hmm.
What do you prioritize? Like as a family, muri papo. Because I think the worst idea now that's happening. It's good you've spoken about it, like Shekuta, childcare and stuff. We are trying to work here. I- In your head, you are thinking, todakudzokera kumusha. So I have to work hard. I need to build. I need to start a business back home and things like that. But I think you are forgetting what's happening now. You are building for the future, yes. But what about now? What are you doing now?
Mm-hmm.
We are killing your child. We are uri kutomurasa uri kutomisa kure umuti aiwa iwo hauna basa iwo mwana haaone future ari kuona zvauri kuita now
Yes.
ona
That's what
ndaiswa
builds them.
nhasi ndapuhwa kuna uyu ndapuhwa kuna uyu
Yes.
so my dad and my mommy doesn't
Don't
love
like
me
me.
they are not worried about me, they don't care about me, they just want to see me alive. So I think that way uri kutouraya mwana uri kutomupusha kure and teaching dzanonowana ikokoko, it's I don't know. So I think we need to set our priorities right. Yes, we need money to live, but mamwe matsvakiro ataakuita kuti tinosiya vana vakadaro ka, I think it's risky, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah.
It's risky trying to build up for kumusha kwavo kwokuti izvezvi tikatidzokera uri kuona vamwe vari kudzokera, but if you talk to them they were away for 20
20,
something.
25 years.
Yo,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
5 years in autoti ndovaka kumusha
Tigama.
adzi nevakomana vamazva anomiswai.
Miss Black. But you know, this is what is interesting talking with you guys, and I'm glad we
Mhm.
touched a bit on that, because there's always this, you know, sometimes you read people be like, some are total advocated to say, forget about home for now, make sure you are established here, you know, and then, because after all, two of your babies, they are this side.
Mhm.
Home, they don't know their home is here.
Yeah, home is
Yes.
here. Yeah,
You see, so you are thinking of there, they are probably, they have no idea what there is. You know, and everything else, and how then do you go about it? So it's a tough journey that we ought to make. So what would you advise Tap Mike to say, okay, fine, Tap Mike, you're newlywed, you're planning to have a family, what should you now consider about those things, the priorities that you're going to set, right? What are you looking at? Because I know in this world the government wants our kids, they do want them to make them
yes, they will
kids.
take them.
You see, they do want them. So what would you say to young couples like me, younger couples to you?
I would say, or we would say rather, don't wait on time. Time waits for no man. God knows the time. If God blesses you with a gift, accept it. It's a blessing of a union. And when you have it, God will always open a way. I would give you as an example as well. For us, when we had our first child, I was pregnant, and our medical aid in Namibia didn't work. What would you do? You need to go to the doctor. You need to do everything in the next. God raised a doctor, a neighbor who was a doctor, a Zimbabwean doctor. Today, up to today, we're still friends with that doctor who would see us it just for the sake of Kuti, we are fellow Zimbabweans. So, pamwe pacho mwaranofura, God opens a way. Not saying what not. You are very fortunate that you are in the first world country where healthcare and maternal healthcare is for free.
Mhm.
is something that you would thank God for and use it wisely
Yeah.
as a chance of yes. No, no matter what situation you have
Oh, okay, I'll call
on
you.
your whatnot, I think you understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying. Look at it as a permanent something and forget about it. Because the moment you look at it, it's a fear that's being put in your face. Turn it into a faith. We need a testimony about it. Yeah. So because now if you look at it these days, I'll speak on, maybe I'll give you an example of myself. We are going through, like, with the type of foods that we are eating, our bodies are changing. Our cycles are not coming to be regular. When you go to the doctor, they'll tell you you've got polycystic ovarian syndrome, whereby when our mothers got married, they never used to have that. They would
Yes, yes,
just
yes.
they would get pregnant as and when they want and have their children. But now some people go for 10 years without children. Some people go for 14 years without kids. So I would want I would want many couples, the youngins one, is especially the men. You men, you come into marriage and say, I'm not yet ready for a child. So what did you get married for?
Nandakuzwa.
Huh?
Imbongwamvunya.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Why did you bring me? You brought me here to just make me sit. Go to work 12 hours. I'm all alone. And you tell me that you don't want anything. Those babies, to us, they are painkillers. They are time pushers. That moment where you are not yet back from work, I'm busy running around with the kids. They're busy. They're taking me out. But once you're back, I'm happy to have you back, my companion. But when I don't have that, oh, you find me waiting for you very eagerly. Where were you? Now I'm tapping everywhere. I'm checking the phone. I'm checking whatever. I'm having those insecurities whereby you are the one who's brought them. And God knows the time. We don't know the time. What if 5 years later or 10 years later you're no more and your child is only 2 years? What will happen? So
Yeah.
I would want to say your biological clock will never clock. Ours will clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when the time is still okay, don't put any woman on contraceptives. Those things are evil. I'm sorry to say it on a public platform, but
They
those
are
things,
hearing it. I have no right to comment on that.
because you know what, it affects the hormone profile.
Yeah.
Yes, it affecting the hormone profile. You're now going back again to go and look for it. To some bodies it's okay, to some bodies it's a poison.
Yeah.
Yes. So whenever you want to do that, do it with caution and know what you're doing, but don't use it in the first. I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine who was getting married. We worked together. And she was like, Florence, I'm scared to get a baby. And I was like, I wasn't married myself. I was point blank. I was like, don't you ever say that. To me, when you say that, uri kutuka Mwari kuti Mwari hanzi kuda mwana. And babies are gifts from God. Yes. Go on, get your body to adjust and have a baby. After that first baby, you can now see how many babies you want and you space them accordingly.
Myself, I always thought the time I would say I'm getting married is I'm ready for babies. I'm ready for anything. So I think for a man to get married, you are ready.
Very much so.
Psychologically, you are ready to look after someone, and you need a baby to look after as well.
Uri wokwachivi wangu sha vakomana vemazuva ano vemutaundi umomo vanenge vachida kuramba vachipfeka tumutodo twavo.
Yeah.
But I do get what you're saying, exactly. And Flo, you were tapping onto something that I think is also an issue on contraception and family planning issues. Hopefully you guys are gonna touch on it.
We
but
will.
yeah, we cannot finish everything. Maybe this gives us a platform, as a teaser. This is a platform to conclude, really.
Mhm.
And the door is always open, if you feel that there is issues that I didn't touch on, because like I said, when we're preparing to say we're just gonna have a conversation, and we are almost, I think we are almost 1 hour 20 minutes in, or something
Yeah,
like that.
we should now.
So yeah, and I have to make sure you go to my nieces, and take care of them. So, but I'm glad to have you here. So I want parting words from you, Flo. I want you to focus on the young girls. Pardon, I want you to focus on the young boys. And when I say young girls and young boys, I'm also speaking from even your younger sisters who are married, your younger brothers who are also married. You are going to decide, you know to say whatever you're gonna say. What would you want? What would you say to them, to say this is the advice I can give to you
Yours,
as
I'll be back in a
as
second.
as the bigger sister, uh, to your sisters. What would you want to say to them that might be listening to us?
Right. To the young girls, I'm just gonna more like paraphrase some of the stuff. But one thing that I would want to leave them with is, when you're preparing for marriage, enter into this, what can I say, in that phase, with full of grace and God's guidance. Don't go with your head. One thing, before I just maybe list up the stuff that I have for you here, is, don't expect too much, because marriage is all about learning, and we learn as we grow together. Don't look for romantic things before you get inside the home, because one thing that I would say with romance, if you get a gesture that maybe tickles you or does everything to you, for a man to be romantic, the next thing that they want to do is to sleep with you. And trust me, 99% is true. When they do something, they want to get something back in return. Yes. And the last thing that I would want to tell you is, marriage was only made by God. That's why we get many trials in it. And that's why we get so frustrated, even when we want to get to the courtship stage. That's why you even hear, I was about to maybe comment on that post that you spoke about, whereby the girls are doing all that thing. I was like, it's because this institution is fought, and now the devil is at fighting them before they get there. So also, when you're married, to those that are married as well, the youngins, a man a man's biggest need is respect and honor. Hakuna zvekumisidzana, whereby I also can speak, I also can do this, I also can do that. No, 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 no. You need to have respect and honor to that man. Always put words of affirmation, because some men, some they speak, some they are not outspoken. They are deep thinkers. Yes. And never dwell on your past. Don't dwell on your husband's past or your partner's past. Be sure that you iron out things, you resolve your conflicts, and move on ahead. Right. Then communication. That's one thing that I would want to speak. I think that will be my last thing to speak before my husband speaks. Communication. When you're speaking to your husband, you need to speak calmly, and you need to think of the words that you're going to bring out. Never use accusative words. express to your husband your feelings. When he is speaking, listen to understand, not to listen to respond. Yes, you should listen to understand. When you don't understand, ask him to clearly clarify it. Never drive each other to anger. Because the moment you drive each other to anger, before God, it's a sin. Yes. Always affirm yourself and know that what you are in at the moment is a blessed covenant, and the devil is always there to destroy and kill it. So be careful of what you're doing and always be prayerful. I think the Bible has a lot of, if you read the Bible with that understanding of what marriage is, you realize that in the Bible it's all about love, as God is love. So that's all I can say for the girls. More of this will come on my podcast when I've set. Yeah.
That's all right.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Koma Pardon. Parting words to the young babas like me and Bachada who's to join.
I think I don't have much to say, but maybe I would refer to the scripture I gave earlier on in Genesis about being naked before your wife. So consider everything that you do now, if you are not in marriage yet, that there's nothing hidden under the sun. When you get into marriage, this will come up one way or the other. Whatever you're doing now will come up. It will be known then. So watch what you are doing at the moment. Be sure you're doing the right thing. And also, if you're looking forward to having like a life partner, a friend for life, I think even before you know them, honor them by keeping yourself clean. You're honoring that partner as well. I think that's my parting words.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Let's Talk, and I've been joined by my Ndumkoma Nasisi, Pardon and Florence Manjera. They have got their podcast, Devoted, and I want to pronounce the right thing. Where did I put it? Devoted and Undistracted, where they are tackling issues concerning marriage, courtship, and relationships. They're bridging a gap that we also have agreed to say that there is between that transition of counseling on some of the expectations that you have as young persons getting into marriage and the reality of marriage after the vows and after we said I do. And I would say go and watch their videos. I watch their videos with my wife. We make sure we play it together and we watch them both, and they're doing us good. And if you have enjoyed this, please like, leave a comment, follow us. We'll be bringing you more conversation. If you want them back, please tell us. We will always reach out to them where it is available for them to come through. Pardon and Florence, on behalf of Let's Talk team, thank you so much for your time. And I know because my nieces were making a bit of noise, so thank you so much for the time that you have given us and to have this conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
All right. God bless you, and you have a lovely night. Till we meet again on next Monday, it's Tapiwa Makosa. Bye-bye.